Fight Club is my anthem. I feel like the film and book, Chuck Palahniuk is a mind-blowingly great author. But I feel like Fight Club in particular just does a wonderful job of capturing the essence of a Generation X male. And just in my particular case, it was growing up without a father, which is a symbol of just growing up, well, in between these two monolithic generations, the boomers and I don't know what you call them, Generation Y, Z, the guys, and they're great people. I definitely would much happier to see our world going into their hands than the boomer hands, certainly. But Generation X was this small generation in the middle, like a middle child that's just sort of forgotten. And obviously, though, we are still human and we have thoughts and feelings, and we create our path in an interesting, I think, unique way that, like, we just do it our way, the Sinatra song, "Do It My Way." We were just soul searching. We've been soul searching. We're not either of those two generations, and so we are us, and we are very different. And the movie Fight Club, for me, obviously, I mean, can you call it the film of a generation? Or if you don't like Fight Club, what about Kevin Smith, the director Kevin Smith, with Clerks, and just Clerks, right? Like Clerks, that's the other side of Fight Club in my mind. It's like I'm not angry, but I'm just in this ennui of running a convenience store. I just, there's those, like, that is another component to our generation that is very valid, almost like a giving up, but not in a giving up in a pathetic way, just like kind of going with the flow of the pointless existence that is Generation X. We grew up with AIDS in the 80s, like we literally couldn't even have sex. We couldn't, like, everything was off limits to us. And it was fine. It's fine. We're not bitching about it. Our generation isn't complaining. We're not outraged. It is what it is, right? You just look at it and you're like, that's what it is. But for me, I tend to go on the side of the Fight Club side, and then my, if Fight Club is my anthem, then Eminem, Marshall Mathers, is like my muse, or my theme song. All of Marshall Mathers, like, he's just angry. I just feel like, for me, given the gift of Eminem and Fight Club, we just were given this wonderful exposition of who we are as Generation X. Or at least who I resonate. When I think personally of who I am as a Generation X person, it's kind of a proud, beaten kind of existence. And but for me, it's kind of ragey. And I was listening to Eminem this morning, and that's what got me started on this this discussion. Like, I mostly listen to YouTube music, because there's a button, I just push mix or whatever, and it just plays really stuff that just really is great for me. And like right now, it's like playing old Eminem, like, early Eminem songs, and like cleaning out my closet I've been hearing that recently a lot. You know, I just this morning heard Criminal, really great, funny, vicious song. Just wonderful music, okay? Wonderful. You cannot deny the brilliance of Marshall Mathers. You cannot do it. You cannot deny it. You don't have to like it, but you cannot deny the brilliance of Marshall Mathers. You can't do it. It's impossible. Impossible. But he just connects with me, and so, if you listen to this podcast, and the podcast is called Sage Against the Machine, in fact, somebody just this morning, I'm here at the building, was like, Sage Against the Machine. That's how he calls me. And I just really like that explanation of me. I didn't come up with that. There was a homeless woman that came up with Sage Against the Machine, and it was just really good. And I have also been getting more and more into the group Rage Against the Machine, and they're just great freedom fighters, through their music. It's just awesome. And so, anyways, I'm not gonna yell. I don't think I'm gonna yell, but the reason I bring this all up is because there's a group of us working with a homeless veteran who lives under a bridge, and a group of us put together some money, and we have him in a motel, and it's been really cool to watch people come around him while he's in this hotel. Groups are coming to visit him. A doctor came to visit him. It's wonderful. It's Mother Teresa got in trouble for saying something like, I don't know, the poor are a blessing or something like that, and it was just bad twist of words. And if you think that she is, glad people are suffering, you don't understand Mother Teresa, and you more importantly don't understand what she was trying to get at. There is nothing greater in life than being able to come around someone that needs care. Anyone, a friend that's dying, a parent that's dying, a lot of times dying, right? So as you are experiencing late life suffering, there is a wonderful gift of helping them through that transition. And I think that's what Mother Teresa was getting at. Not that we want anybody to suffer, but suffering is life. I mean, that's what the Buddhists would say, right? I mean, suffering isn't a part of life, suffering is life. And in fact, anytime you're not suffering, you really should get out your gratitude journal and write it down, because that is the exception, not the rule of life. There's just a lot of suffering in the world, and there is a gift, and most people that are doing this work, most, I don't know, I strike that. Some of the people that are doing this work call it God, because it's so powerful. It's the only word you can come up with. You're like, this is God's plan for me. They'll say stuff like that. And anybody that is seriously thinking about their spirituality realizes they don't know what the hell that means. They can't understand God. It's not like you got a fax from God that said, go help Tom over here. He needs help. No. You just were drawn to this person and you feel incredible sorrow and gratitude and love. It's I guess that word sweet sorrow, maybe. That's the other amazing part of it. You can't even describe it. You can't even describe what I'm talking about. You can't even describe it. All you can do is experience it. And that's why Mother Teresa got in hot water for saying, suffering is a blessing. Or that's not the direct quote. Look it up. I don't know. If you know it, put it in the comments. But for me, there's the other side of the outrage, of the rage that is out. Outrage. And that's what got me, so connected to like Eminem this morning, and then thinking about Fight Club, the rage, because I just have this like theory in my stupid little head that there should be somebody in America that doesn't have to be homeless. Just, I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's 5.5-year-olds. Like, if you are 5.5, anytime between the age of 5.5 to 6, if there's a 6-month period, you never have to be homeless. Perfect. Let's just go with them. Pick anybody. How about final trimester pregnant women, okay? Let's not get all crazy that as soon as you become pregnant, you don't have to be homeless. No, that's stupid. That's ridiculous. That's just asking too much. Final trimester. How about the last month of pregnancy? How about that? Last month of pregnancy, you go in, you get your doctor. Your doctor's like, yep, you're the last month of pregnancy. Bam, you don't have to be pregnant. You don't have to be pregnant, sorry. You don't have to be homeless. Like, I play that game in my mind. I'm like, isn't there someone, how about your grandfather, your grandmother, someone that just recently got their leg amputated? Just, I don't care who it is. I don't care who it is. How about just blonde hair, blue-eyed women between the age of 18 and 25? I don't care. I don't care who you pick. It would just be wonderful if there was one group of people where you're like, nope. You do not have to be homeless. Do not have to be homeless. And for me, that group is veterans. Now, I've learned through a friend of mine, Claire, that there's a difference between a soldier and a veteran. Apparently, and I didn't know this, apparently a veteran is a person that served overseas for a certain amount of time, and I can't recall the amount of time. You can't just go over there for a day and call yourself a veteran. It has to be like, 6 months. I don't remember. I'm sorry, I don't know. But so apparently a soldier can be somebody that was in the military but didn't go overseas, and therefore they're not a veteran, I guess. And again, I'm pretty sure that's what she told me. If I'm wrong, you just correct me in the comments below. But I'm pretty sure that's what Claire told me. A veteran is a person who served overseas, okay? How about veterans? How about Vietnam veterans? How about drafted Vietnam veterans? How about drafted Vietnam veterans with one leg? I mean, literally anyone. How about drafted Vietnam veterans with one leg named Bob? Just because it's funny. I don't know. Just anybody. They don't have to be homeless. Okay? I literally, I don't care. I don't care who we pick. Just how about we pick a name out of a hat? One guy, one person. Like, It'll be like the quarter quell or whatever in um, Hunger Games, except instead of killing people, you put all the homeless names in, and you don't have to be homeless for the winter. Just one person, one. I don't know. So, anyways, there's a guy we're working with. And right now he's in a motel, and it's wonderful to see people coming around him. And Hope Farm, Georgianne, and the homeless charity have come together to split the cost of the original 4 nights of the hotel. And we also bought him a heater and an extension hose to put a 20-gallon or 20-pound propane tank on the heater. These little these buddy heaters, little buddy heaters, Mr. Buddy, Mr. Somebody Buddy heaters. Wonderful to heat a tent. Wonderful. They have carbon monoxide detector and a trip over detector. I guess the trip over detector is so powerful, unfortunately, so sensitive that some people disable it because in a tent you're tripping over it all the time and it turns off all the time. That's, I guess, the one downside. Is it's too good. The trip detector's too good. So we bought him that. That should be coming in today. I also got him a cool camp chair. They're put in his tent. And the reason I got him a camp chair is because he has a very difficult time standing up. His legs are incredibly weak. When I got him out of the truck at the motel, he fell down. And it wasn't because he was drunk. He wasn't drunk. He was very cognizant and aware. I don't know when he's a drinker, but I don't know when he drank last. But he did not fall because he was drunk. He fell because his legs are incredibly, incredibly weak. He should probably be in a wheelchair. He does not have a wheelchair. And the word is that a doctor came and saw him at the hotel and believes that his toes are frostbite and maybe have to be amputated. That was the word I got this morning or late last night. And here's the thing. He will not, he doesn't go to hospitals. I don't know if they'll be able to get him, but he refuses. He's just like, I talked to him, he's like, they're just going to tell me everything. I already know. Stop drinking, stop smoking, get indoors. And there's an element of truth, right? They're going to just say that crap. My mom was the same way. My mom hated hospitals. There's a certain kind of person that just doesn't like hospitals, that's all. And so at any rate, he... people have asked him, he has money, he has income. And they're like, can we help you get indoors? And he's like, I am not going to go indoors unless all of my friends in this camp go indoors. And this is a man with frostbite that can barely walk. Somebody stole his overall winter bib. Somebody bought him those and somebody stole them from him, probably because they were freezing. He will not entertain the idea of going indoors, living without taking his friends. And a person with that much integrity and that much valor, and a person that did so much to give back to our country, is living under a bridge, freezing to death. It's just not right. There is no scale, there is no form of morality or justice or government system that makes that right. There is nothing in the world that should be happening to what this one man, who is just a symbol of endless homeless people in his exact same situation all over the Midwest of America, all over Europe, all over the world in this winter. Those are the stories that are happening while shelters are being shut down by our government. There's not a single homeless person in this 18,000 square foot building right now, and it is, I think it did get above the teens. It's cold in here. The building is terrible with heat. 60 degrees. This building, I got to do something about that. It's just always cold in the winter. But it's not 20. And the wind isn't blowing on me. And there are no homeless people in this building, because the government will not allow me to have homeless people in this building. What do you conclude about the motivation of a government that forces freezing people out of buildings? Because it's happening. It happens all over the country. I think there's a group up in Cleveland called the Metanoia Project that was forced to shut down. There was a group, I don't know where, I just read it yesterday. They're closing right this week before Christmas because they don't have the funds. We allow, and by I mean we, I'm talking not the government, us, the citizens, allow our government to torture the weak and disabled and poor. It is on our watch that this is happening. You can debate all you want about what's going on down the border. Personally, I think it's obviously torturous. But, there is certainly a debate as to whether or not, the illegal immigrants should be there. I read about a mom throwing her baby over the fence because the baby needed medical attention. It's clearly desperation there, incredible desperation. We, the people of America, have to persuade our government to do something about this. And the something is easy. Let us shelter the people that need sheltered. It is easy. Churches can do it. I can do it. Anybody can do it. You want to put requirements, the amount of people, you want to have specific things where this, and this, but they cannot hide behind their ordinances and say, well, this building is not zoned for that. while veterans are freezing to death on the streets. They are using the law as a weapon against people they hate. They are using the law to kill homeless people, to eradicate homeless people. It is the final solution. It is, while it's passive extermination. Their hope is that they either leave or die. You cannot make any other conclusion. Because when somebody looks at a veteran who is freezing to death on their streets and says, this person has nowhere to go while countless, endless buildings are sitting empty, they are lying about their motivation. They want that person to die. That is it. You cannot, no matter what they say, look, we all do it in our own little ways. We buy something that's too expensive. We go out and we buy maybe a fancy name brand bag, a purse, a suitcase, and we say things like, well, it's quality. It's quality. That's a lie. You don't know anything about quality. You didn't do a thorough study about the quality of bags and then pick the most expensive bag because that's the brand you buy all the time. Don't lie about it. You like the brand. But we lie about things to make excuses for our true motivations. The true motivation is homeless people are not part of the plan. They need to go away. And the harder we make their lives, the more brutal we make their lives, they either leave or die. We know that there is a 20-year difference on mortality for a homed person versus a homeless person. Being homeless takes 20 years off of your life. We cannot stand by as our government tortures our weakest citizens. We have to stand up for them because they are beaten to a pulp. They cannot stand up for themselves alone. We have to stand with them. We know what is right. We have to do what is right. It is abhorrent and torturous and cruel and brutal that veterans are freezing to death on the streets of America. There is no scenario where that makes sense until you put in the idea that you don't want them here. We don't want those people here. Just make them go away. And then it makes perfect sense. We let them die and rot in incredibly brutal conditions because our government does not want them here. Do not think your American government is more altruistic, more idealistic than any other government on this planet. You know why we go into the Middle East. It's not to create democracy. It's to take their oil. Why aren't we in Africa? Well, we are in Africa. But there are many places that are being tortured. People are being tortured and their human rights are being violated. How about Saudi Arabia, one of our best friends? Never implicated them on 9/11, even though most of the terrorists were from Saudi Arabia. Do not pretend your government isn't what it truly is. A cruel, murderous regime. I'm not anti-American. I love America. This isn't an anti-American spiel. This is telling you how people become absolutely corrupted amidst the power they are given as political officials. It's not the system that's broken. It's the people that run the system. But here's the thing. You know why I love America? Because I can say these words. What you are listening to right now is American freedom. It's very unlikely that anything bad would ever happen to me for saying these words. Because at our essence, we protect freedom of speech with all our heart. And that is what America is. Because this is how you overturn the officials in the American government, through freedom of speech. And this is what was built into the system. We, the people of America, can no longer allow the cruel, dictatorial, murderous actions against our own people caused by the people we have elected. We cannot let this stand. We must persuade them to find their humanity. Because that's who we are as Americans. There are lines in the sand that we do not cross. And allowing veterans to die on the streets of the richest country this planet has ever seen is one of those lines. We have to stand up. All right, everybody. Have a great day.